Hari Om dear students, welcome to our online session. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the second part of the lesson, that is story. So in the previous part we have discussed that a boy of 15 years who was a thief, he disguised himself as Hari Singh and he went to Anil's house for some kind of a work, but as Anil, he couldn't pay anything, he didn't give any job, but the boy asked, he don't want any salary, but if he can feed, that is more than enough. Then Anil just appointed him as a cook, though he don't know cooking. The boy said in the beginning that he knows cooking, but later he was found that he didn't know cooking, but still he was continued in Anil's house as a cook, and Anil was a very good, humble and pleasant being, where he didn't had any kind of harshness towards the boy, and even the boy felt very comfortable, and Anil trusted him a lot in such a way that he used to give the keys of house also to Anil whenever he wanted to go out and can come back. It was according to his own convenience. The boy used to have his the house keys also, and the boy whenever he used to go for shopping, he used to earn 1 rupee per 1 day while getting groceries or something else, like it's a kind of cheating. He used to manipulate the bills, and somehow he used to save 1 rupee per 1 day, and as there was no salary he used to do it. And also here the boy, one day he had seen that Anil had got lot of amount because he had sold his book to one of the publishers. Anil bought the amount and kept it under the mattresses. And finally here the boy decided to rob the money which was kept under the mattresses by Anil, because if he won't take, Anil is not going to pay him any salary. That is what the boy thinks here. The boy thinks that if he won't rob, simply Anil will spend the money on his friends and he is not going to pay him any salary. So finally the boy decided to rob Anil. So with this we have ended the previous part. So now let us continue the lesson, children. Anil was asleep. So Anil was sleeping. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. Like it was a moony day, like full moon day. So the moonlight, it just from the balcony, it had fallen on the bed where this Anil was sleeping. I sat up on the floor considering the situation. So he is observing everything, and he was sleeping in the balcony. He just got up and he sat on the floor and he was thinking about the situation. If I took the money, I could catch 10:30 express to Lucknow. So he was planning himself how to rob and also how to save himself. So he's thinking that if he takes that money which was under the mattresses or under the bed, he's saying that he could just catch the Lucknow Express at 10:30. The boy is thinking that if he takes the money, he can catch the 10:30 Express and go to Lucknow. So slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. So finally the boy decided to rob the money and go away. So he slowly crept up to the bed. That means he just slowly went to the bed. He is slipping out of the blanket. That means he came out of the blanket and he went very slowly. He crept towards the bed, and there he had seen that Anil was sleeping very peacefully without any lines. See, his face was clear and unlined. That means there were no scars or the lines on the face. That means he was sleeping very pleasantly. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. So his face was lined more than the Anil's. Anil's face was not at all lined when he was sleeping peacefully. That means he was not having any kind of a worries or tension. Whereas here the boy is worried a lot, like how to rob and where to go and when to go. So in this way he was thinking a lot. His face was lined more than the Anil. My hand slid under the mattress, searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out with a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room. So here, finally, when the boy went to Anil's bed, his hand slid under the mattress. You can see in the picture here, the boy was putting his hand under the mattress and searching for the notes, and finally he had found the notes. He had found them, and I drew them out without a sound. That means he took out all the money without a sound. And Anil sighed in his sleep, like he was making some kind of a movements on his face, and he turned to the boy's side. That means he turned on his side towards me. That means Anil, who was sleeping in the other direction, he turned towards the boy, and immediately the boy was startled. That means he was a little bit shocked and quickly crawled out of the room. And slowly when Anil he turned, he was startled. That means he was shocked and worried, and also what do we call kind of a fear. Immediately he came out of, he quickly crawled, in the sense he crawled in the sense just walking on the floor with the knees, like how babies walk. So he crawled out of the room with the money which was kept under the mattresses by Anil. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist, held there by the string of my pyjamas. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. So here the boy, after taking the money, he ran towards the road. He was on the road. The boy was running on the road and he began to run. The boy he came onto the road and he started running. He took all the notes and he had kept on his waist and held there by the string of my pyjamas. That means he was wearing pyjamas. Pyjamas will be having a string, isn't it, to tie to the waist. So he kept all the money to the waist in the sense where the pyjamas are tied. So he kept all the money at the waist and he tied with the pajama string. Okay, almost he tied it very tightly, and then he ran to a longer distance. He ran and ran, and finally he slowed down to walk and counted the notes. So after running for a long distance, he slowed down and he started walking, and after some time he started counting how much amount is there, and the total amount was 600 rupees and all the notes were in 50s. And he thought that yes, he could live like an oil rich Arabs, like how Arabs live very rich life for a week or 2 weeks. He can live very happily, he thought. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life, but dashed straight to the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. So here, the moment he had reached the station in the sense railway station, he did not stop at the ticket office in the sense ticket counter where we take a ticket to travel in train, isn't it, children? So here he didn't stop at the ticket counter because he had never taken ticket in his life, it seems. Throughout his life he had never purchased a ticket to travel in train. That means always used to travel in train without tickets. So he didn't stop at the ticket counter but dashed straight to the platform. That means straight away he went to the platform. And on the platform he had seen that the Lucknow Express was just moving, and the train had still to pick up the speed, and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages, but I hesitated. For some reason I can't explain, and I lost the change to get away. Sorry, I lost the chance to get away. So here, the moment he entered into the platform, the Lucknow Express was moving and it was still moving in slowly, and it had to pick up some speed, and it was possible for him to jump into the one of the carriages. That means in the one of the compartments he could jump and get into the train, but somehow he hesitated in the sense he couldn't go. Something was running in his mind that he was not willing to get for some reason which he couldn't explain. So some because of something he couldn't jump into the one of the compartments of Lucknow Express. And finally he thought that I lost the chance to get away. Finally he didn't go, and he said that he had lost the chance to go away. Now there is no chance of going away. That means he has to stay there itself. Though a train was there, though he reached the railway station in a time, though the train was moving very slowly, and though he could able to jump and get into the compartment, he didn't do that because of some unknown reason. He hesitated, and finally he had now no chance of getting away from that town. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. So finally, he didn't get into the train, and the train had gone. And he had found himself standing alone on the deserted platform. So that means deserted platform in the sense nobody was there on the railway platform. On that railway station there was nobody there on this platform, and he was the only person standing alone on this railway station platform, and he had no idea where to go and how to spend that night, because there is no home. Now he had come out of Anil's house, isn't it? So where to stay that night, there was no idea. And moreover he had no friends, because he believes that friends are more troublesome than helping. He feels that friends never help but creates lot of trouble. So he had no friends also, and now he couldn't understand where to go and where to stay that night. And I did not want to make anyone curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. So he don't want to stay at the hotels which was nearby the railway station and make some kind of a curiosity to the people, why the boy is staying here, why is he alone, why is he staying in a hotel, from where did he come. So all this is a nonsense. So he don't want to create such kind of a curiosity to the people. So he don't want to stay in any of the hotels which were nearby the station. The only person I knew really was the man I had robbed. So leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. So the only man whom he had known in that city was the man whom he had robbed. So whom did he rob, children, here? He had robbed Anil, isn't it? So he was the only man whom he knew very well. So he had left the station and started walking slowly through the bazaar. Okay? Yeah. In my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. The greedy man showed fear, the rich man showed anger, the poor man showed acceptance. But I knew that Anil's face, when he discovered the theft, would show only a touch of sadness, not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. So here, the boy is saying that in his career as a thief, he had seen people. Okay, he had seen men's faces and their expressions when they have found that their goods were lost. So here are the different expressions, see children. So here he is saying that he had made a study of man's faces. That means he is very good at the expressions of the people when they have lost their goods, especially the greedy man. Greedy man in the sense a cunning people, they shall fear. So the moment they found that their things were robbed, they'll be fearing. And the rich man, he'll be showing anger when they found that their things were robbed. And finally, the poor man will show the feeling of acceptance. Array, whatever happens, let it happen. So they will accept, the poor man will accept the thing, whatever had happened, like when they have found that the things were robbed. And finally, now he is thinking about Anil's face, and when he discovered the theft, like the robbery, how would he be? How could his face be? He was thinking, and finally thought that it will not be just like anger or fear or acceptance, but it will be having only a touch of sadness, because he was not sad because he had lost money, but he'll be sad because he had lost trust. That is what the boy feels here. I found myself in the maiden and sat down on the bench. The night was chilly. It was early November and a light drizzle added to my discomfort. Soon it was raining quite heavily. My shirt and pyjamas stuck to my skin, and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. So here the boy was, he found himself in a maiden and he sat on, just he went to a place and he sat under the tree on a bench, and he started thinking about Anil, because Anil, if he found that he was robbed, he might be feeling very sad, because not that he had lost money, but he had lost the trust what he had kept on the boy. So finally he was thinking all those, and he was sitting under the tree on a bench. And that night it was very chilly, chilly in the sense not the mirchi what we eat. It is very cool, chilly in the sense very cool, and it was early November in the sense beginning of the month of November, and slowly it started drizzling, light drizzling. That means it started drizzling. Drizzling is nothing but small drops of water, almost like a shower. Okay, and already he was feeling discomfort when he was thinking about Anil, and this drizzling added more to his discomfort. Now he is feeling more discomfort, and however, the drizzling slowly it began to rain heavily, and all his shirt and pajama started sticking to skin. That means he was totally wet, and the cold wind blew the rain across my face. So all his dress was wet, and on even on his face, the cold wind was blowing, and totally he was wet in the rain now. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight. I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. So finally, when it was raining heavily and all his clothes were wet, he went back again to the bazaar and he sat under the clock tower. In cities, there will be a huge clock towers like this. Now, children, see here I have given the picture. So under the clock tower, he took shelter under the clock tower, and the clock tower showed that it was midnight. The clock showed that it was midnight, and finally he was searching. I felt for the note. That means he was searching the note, and he felt that the total notes were damp wet. That means all of the notes, the total money was wet due to rain. Anil's money. In the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to cinema. But now I had it all. I couldn't cook his meals, run to bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. So now the boy is somehow happy. Yeah, I'm having Anil's money, though it is wet, though it is totally wet, it is Anil's money. In the morning, the next day morning, he would, if I didn't rob, he would have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to movie. But now I am having the total money. Okay, yeah. So if I didn't rob it, the next day he might have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to cinema, but now I am having the total money. And now, no need of cooking. I couldn't cook his meals or run to bazaar or learn to write. No need of cooking for Anil, and no need of running to bazaar and get the groceries or other things, or not even writing. No need of writing whole sentences anymore. I'm free of cooking. I'm free of going to bazaar. I'm free of writing sentences. But I'm having all the money. So in this way, somehow the boy was very happy. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Whole sentences I knew could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. It was a simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as simple to be caught. But to be a really big man, a clever and a respected man, was something else. I should go back to Anil. I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. So when this boy was thinking of himself that the total money I'm having now, no need of cooking, no need of going to bazaar, or no need of writing, nothing is there. Okay, so no cooking, no shopping, and no writing. Nothing is there. So finally he was happy, but somewhere he had forgotten about in the excitement of theft. Now he was totally in excitement that he had all the money and no need of doing all these things. But he had, in that excitement, he had forgotten something. What is that? One or the other day, see here, Hosen, I knew would one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. One or the other day, I may get more money than this. It was simple to steal, and it was more simple to be caught also. So it is very simple to steal the money or rob the money, and it is easy also to getting caught. People may catch. So it is easy to rob and it is easy to be caught. But it will be a really very big matter. But to be a really big man, a clever, respected man or something else. So it is easy to rob, it is easy to be caught. But if you really wanted to be a big man, a clever or a respected man, it is really something else more than this. Okay. So yeah, it is very easy to rough and it is easy to caught, but it's very tough to be a big man, a clever and a respected man. It is not the regular thing, it is something else, something more. So finally the boy thought that no, I should not rob, I should not steal this money from Anil. I should go back to Anil, he told to himself, and if only to learn to read and write. So finally, he thought of going to Anil and give the money back to him and thought of learning how to read and write. I hurried back to the room feeling very nervous, for it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. So finally the boy decided to return the money to Anil, isn't it? So he hurried back to the room. He hurried to Anil's room and he was feeling very nervous, tension because it is easy to steal money, but it is very tough to return it undetected. So without it, undetected in the sense without noticing. Here Anil should not notice that he had stolen the money, isn't it? So without knowledge of Anil, he wanted to put the money again in his under the mattresses here. So I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway. I could, in clouded moonlight. Anil was still asleep. I crept to the head of the bed and my hand came with the notes and I felt his breath on my hand. I remained still for a minute. Then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the notes. So finally, though he was feeling a lot of nervous, he just came, he opened the door quietly and he stood at the doorway. At the door, he stood in the moonlight and he opened the door and he had seen that Anil was still sleeping. So slowly he crept. He went to the head of the bed and he took out all the notes and he started putting under the bed. And at the time of keeping that amount, he could feel his breath. The boy could feel Anil's breath on his hand and he remained still for 1 minute. He stayed there itself for 1 minute and slowly he kept the total amount under the mattresses and he slipped off. He slipped under it with the notes. He just kept the money under the bed and he came off. I awoke late next morning to find that Anil had already made the tea. He stretched out his hands towards me. There was a 50 rupee note between his fingers. So the next day morning he woke very late and found that Anil already he had prepared tea. And also Anil he stretched his hand towards Hari Singh here and there was a 50 rupee note between his fingers. So the 50 rupees note was there between Anil's fingers and he was giving it to Hari Singh. Okay. My heart sank. I thought I had been discovered. I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now you'll be paid regularly. My spirits rose. But when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. So the moment Anil gave the money to Hari Singh here, he was a little bit sad. My heart sank. That means he was a little bit sad. and he thought that he had been discovered. That means he thought that Anil came to know about the money which he had stolen. But Anil said that he had made some money yesterday, and he also said that he will be paying the boy regularly. That means he will be giving salary to the boy regularly. And immediately Hari Singh, the boy, his spirits rose. He was very happy. But when he took the note, he had found that still the notes were wet. Why the notes are wet here? Because they were damp in the last night rain, isn't it? They became wet in the rain last night. So here the boy, he could recognize that kind of a wettiness. He could feel that the notes are still wet, but he was happy that Anil is going to give him salary every month. Today we will start writing sentences, he said. He knew, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. So when Anil said that he is going to pay him regularly, immediately here he said the boy was very happy, and he continued talking to the boy, and he said that today we are going to start writing sentences. So you'll be learning how to write a sentence. And when Anil is talking in this way, the boy is feeling that he knew it definitely that I have stolen the money. But neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. So neither his lips nor his eyes. That means he don't want to discuss it with me. But he knew it very well that I have stolen the money and I have kept it back again. So I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way. So he started smiling. The boy started smiling in most appealing way, and the smile came by itself. So he started smiling within himself, and it came by it is not like artificial smile or something, because he felt sorry from heart that he had done a mistake, because Anil, he said that he is going to pay salary, isn't it? So when he said that he is going to pay salary, and also he didn't ask anything about the money which is stolen. Here the boy, he had stolen the money, isn't it, children? So when the money is stolen, what will happen? Automatically we will shout at the people who had stolen it. But here Anil, he didn't do anything. Because of that, the boy has changed his attitude, his behavior by himself, isn't it? And finally he thought that he will be with Anil and he will be learning everything from Anil, and he will be one day a good educated human being. Hope you have understood the lesson, children, how a boy of 15 years old who was a thief by profession, how he changed himself by his company with a pleasant personality, with Anil, who was very good in his attitude and everything. So this is the lesson. Hope you have understood it. If you have any doubts, please contact us so that we will clarify your doubts. Hari Om. Thank you.